is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. I know who goes before me, I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The God of angel armies is always by my side.
The God of angel armies is always by my side. Good evening, New Season Gospel FM family, and welcome to another episode of Faith Matters with me, Mnena. It is always a pleasure to come on and just reflect and share with you all just about God's goodness and how the faith walk is going. I pray that you are all doing well, that your week is off to an amazing start, and I just hope that you had a wonderful day. So jumping into it again, I just want to say thank you to those who are listening this evening, who've joined on Facebook and YouTube. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for coming on tonight, and those who are listening on newseasonfm.com. Thank you all so much for for coming on tonight. And so jumping into it, I just want to not start counting days per se, but just checking in to see where you're at this point in the year. We are, this is the second week. We're just into the second week of March, and always it's going by really quickly. So I hope that you are all like in the full swing of things in this year, and not just sitting down and waiting and saying, okay, I still have time. Now is the time. Today's the day. There's never a perfect day like now, a perfect time as now. So again, just want to make sure that you remember that. So again, thank you for coming on. Take the time to share the broadcast. Invite someone to come on. There might be one or two nuggets that might be helpful to someone out there, hopefully. Thank you, Akil, for coming on. Thank you, Yeye. Blessed, thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate you all. So jumping into it, of course, it's Monday. It's Workplace Napping Day. I'm going to run through quickly these holidays of mine, just picking a few to dwell on tonight. Workplace Napping Day, I think, is just a reminder for us of how important sleep is, or getting rest is. So if you're really not that person who's getting a lot of rest or enough rest, really encourage you to don't nap on the job, but if you have like a 5-minute or 20-minute break, it'll be a good time to just say, okay, hey, I am going to, just take a nap, take a snooze, take that power nap. I really don't believe in power naps because I'm not good at it. Because when I take a nap, or when I lay down my head to rest, I really want to be able to take a good nap or have a good sleep. But there are those who do well with just a 10-minute power nap and all of that stuff. So if that's your thing, by all means, do so. It's not too late. For those of you who are doing night shifts, so you can also apply that. Eat Noodles Day, feel our staplers day. A lot of times, I don't know if you're like me, but many times we have staplers in our desks, right? And you find that time where you go on there and you want to just staple something, and before you know it, it's like, oh, I don't have any pins in here. So we're feeling our staplers day. Shout out to plumbers out there. It's World Plumbing Day. Tomorrow, organize your home office. For those of you who work from home or just have some semblance of a workspace at home, it is time to organize your workspace. Organize your home office tomorrow. Plant a flower day. If you're a green thumb, I'm not. I've shared quite a bit here, my journey or my lack of luck, I would say, with plants. So, but if you're a green thumb, plant a flower tomorrow. It's Working Mom Day, celebrating all moms out there who work. So tomorrow we're celebrating working moms. It's Ear Muffin Day. On Wednesday is Donald Duck Day. If you're into Donald Duck, if he's your favorite, celebrate Donald on Wednesday. Canine Veterans Veteran Day. Shout out to all the canines out there. On Wednesday, Chicken Noodle Soup Day. I love chicken noodle soup. Good Samaritan Day. I think this should be an everyday thing. It should be every single day of our lives. We should be applying this concept in our lives. The Good Samaritan. We're familiar with the story of, it's just a story of love. It's a story of empathy. It's a story of brotherhood. So the Good Samaritan. Ginger Ale Day. If you love ginger ale. It's Ginger Ale Day on Wednesday. Celebrate Scientist Day. It's Genius Day. Crowdfunding Day. There's a lot going on Thursday. Write Your Story Day. I think this should be an everyday thing. Every single day you should be able to write your story, to share your story, to talk about your story. But Thursday, if you're that person who've had all these ideas in your head and you really can't put them out, Thursday is a day that you kind of just sit back and say, okay, I'm going to start writing. Just start from there. Don't be planning, thinking it. Don't be paying too much attention to your thoughts. Just start writing. Just start from there. Friday is Preschool Teachers Day. Celebrating all preschool teachers out there. I duck my hat to preschool teachers because I think it's not an easy task. Not an easy task at all to have those little ones in your care. So shout out to all preschool teachers. Celebrate them on Friday. I think we should celebrate them every single day. It's World Sleep Day. World Sleep Day. Sleep is important. We need to really celebrate sleep. We need to start sleeping more, getting enough sleep, enough rest. When we sleep well, we function better. When we sleep well, we're just better. We focus better. We produce. We're more effective in everything that we do. So encouraging sleep on Friday, again, this should be an everyday thing. So jumping into it, I'm going to jump right into it. I'm talking about courage today. I want to reflect on courage. What does it mean to be courageous? What does it mean to be brave? What does it mean to just have heart? And it's really important. I was thinking about this because totally not what I wanted to reflect on today, but I saw, I watched something today that just really brought tears to my eyes, and also just really, I want to say, it just made me reflect on what it means to be courageous. I watched a movie this afternoon, and it was really interesting because it was just a story of courage, a story of persistence, a story of when you know what God has called you to, or your purpose in life. You don't let anything stand in your way. You defy all odds. You go for it. And so I watched Cabrini today. That's the name of the movie, Cabrini, and it's about this nun who, an Italian nun who came, of course, from Italy to America, and she faced a lot of opposition, and she just had a lot of hurdles and obstacles to go through to form, her, to spread her message, which is a message of love, a message of hope. It just really got me thinking how many times in life, like, we're faced with situations where we could easily just say, okay, I'm just gonna give up. I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to put up with all the bullying, for lack of a better word, that I'm getting as a result of trying to live out my purpose. Good evening, Rev. Thank you for coming on. And so Mother Cabrini was just really, she was intentional. She was fierce, and she went out to do this. And in a world where there was just so much, like, women were not really heard, because they weren't considered as important to speaking where men were, or to even do anything. They just in those days they just thought that women were just should just be silent. They should be in the homes. They should just be taking care of kids and things like that. But she defied all of that, and she stood up for hope. She stood up for the path of Christ. She stood up for making sure that she was that constant voice, that reminder, pointing people to the plight of others, the suffering of others. And it was just interesting because I was, while I was watching it, I mean, I cried like a baby watching it, but it was heartwarming to see. And mind you, she also had like she had some health issues that she was dealing with. I think she had nearly drowned as a child, as a young girl, and that had affected her lungs. So they had actually given her like a short time to live. But how many of us know that when God has a plan and a purpose for us, it doesn't matter what the doctors say. God has the final say. So she lived out to be 65 years old, and it was just like it was so heartwarming to just watch, and I just wanted to share that tonight. Just a few takeaways for me. As I was watching the movie tonight, and if you're able to, please by all means, it's a really great it's a great movie. It's called Cabrini. I'm sure it'll warm your heart, especially us as women. It's an inspiration for us, especially as we celebrate women this month. Just to remember that we can be all that God has called us to be. And we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And so just that reminder that we need to do that, to hold on to have courage to hold on to our faith in the face of opposition. I mean, she was this woman who stood against the powers, the church, and the political powers, and nothing would stand in her way. And so I have a few scriptures here that I just laid down, and I'm going to go through it, and also a few things that stood out to me in the movie that we can, I think I can apply in my life, and hopefully you might be able to also get a few from there to apply in your lives as well. But just starting off, Psalm 31 tells us, "Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all you that hope in the Lord." So this is a reminder for us to just continuously be of good courage, and to be reminded that God will strengthen us. If we put our hope in him, all we have to do is just to hope in God, to put our trust and our hope in him. And it doesn't matter what it is that we're faced, what it is that comes against us, whatever it is that we're facing. God will always help us because we've placed our hope and our trust in him. And so the reminder for us is to be of good courage, and he shall strengthen our hearts. Mark 5:36 says, "As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the ruler of the synagogue, 'Do not be afraid, but only believe.'" Many times in our lives we have those situations that will throw us in a teasy, that will kind of just throw us off course and make us feel as though, okay, where are we going? What's happening? I don't know what's going on. And so many times when this happens, it's like we're reminded to not be afraid. We're reminded not to be afraid, but to believe that God will definitely see us through. And he that has called us to it will definitely give us all that we need to make sure that we come out of it stronger, or we accomplish what it is that he has laid for us. Psalm 27 tells us to wait on the Lord, to be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Again, going back to waiting on the Lord and being of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. There's something about our hearts being strengthened. There's something about our hearts just having that hoping in God and just holding on to that. I don't know about you, but I know that many times when I'm going through things, when I'm struggling, when I'm feeling defeated, or just feel as though I can't take it anymore, it's like my heart is heavy, my heart is down. But we're reminded here that God will strengthen our hearts. there's something about having your heart renewed, having your heart strengthened in that midst, or when you feel down, when you feel as though you can't do it anymore. Something about having that strength in your heart. And so we just want to. I just want to share tonight and just encourage you, as I'm encouraging myself, because I had to sit down and just really think about it and encourage myself tonight, as well, throughout the day actually, because I watched this afternoon, and reflect and apply the concept in my life, and to see where the many times where, my heart is heavy, my heart is down, but then I'm reminded of these words, and his words are true. Like, his word is true. There's nothing that God says that is not true. His word is true. And so we need to hold on to his word. We can't rely on man. We can't rely on our friends. We can't rely on, there's nothing we can rely on, but we can rely on God, and we can hope in him. One of my favorite scriptures is 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. And so if you remind yourself daily and arm yourself with these scriptures when you're faced with situations, or faced with situations where it seems hopeless, or it seems as though you're doing all that you can, but you can't seem to make that break. You can't seem to just accomplish anything. You remind yourself of these scriptures and you hold on to it. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Remember last week I talked about everything that we have, all the things that are stopping us from doing what we should be doing, or what we've been called to do. Whatever the reasons we have, all those reasons are rooted in one word, which is fear. It could be fear of failure, fear of losing loved ones, fear of telling the truth and being ostracized, fear of what if, fear of failure, fear, whatever the fear is, whatever it is, even the procrastination that we self-claim procrastinators, it's because of fear. That's why we procrastinate. We don't want to do this, or we're holding back, or we're fearful of what will happen if we accomplish something, or if we do something. And it's also fear of success. So we talked about that last week. Having that fear, a lot of times we think it's the fear, the negative aspects of it, but it could also be you're fearful of the success that you're going to enjoy, because you become so comfortable in your now, you become so comfortable in what you're used to, that you're fearful of what might come, the better things that are coming your way, or would come your way, if you were to embark on that journey, or the purpose, walking your purpose that you've been called to. And so he has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. If you hold on to this, you know that regardless of what comes your way, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what people say, you're still going to be able to carry on, because it's in your DNA. It's in your DNA. He hasn't given you a spirit of fear. You're not a fearful person. You were not created to be a fearful person. But you have power on the inside of you, and it's a power to control your emotions, power to control just the people, the things that you take into yourself. It's the power to control what you can listen to, what you can hear, or what advice to take, or what you let actually affect you. And once you realize this, or once you recognize this power that you have, it's an amazing feeling, and it's very liberating for you to get to that point, to know the kind of power that you have. And it's really important, because a lot of times we do things out of emotions, right? We respond from our emotions, things out like, oh, what, why would they talk to me like that? Did you know me? You respond from, a lot of us respond from that emotional state. But if you know the kind of power you have, you know that you can, you have the power to not let your emotions control you. And what do I mean by that is, say someone says something to you, you have the power to respond, or not respond. You could say, okay, I'm just going to ignore you, and I'm not going to entertain what you said to me, or even dignify whatever comments you've made with a response. That's a power in itself. And you also have that power to just say, to walk away. But if you decide that, okay, I'm going to respond, or I'm going to speak back, or I'm going to try to clear my name, a lot of times when we try to do that, especially talking about the clearing name part, it's like you're wasting energy, you're wasting time. There's time waste for no one. And I had to, I'm so happy that I'm getting to that point. I'm not fully there yet. I think I had shared before, like I'm that person who, I'm really bothered, by what people say about me or what people think. But I'm getting to that point now where I don't want to say I don't care, but I know who I am. So I'm not threatened by any misconceptions someone has about me or whatever they say, because I know who I am. And I think we all need to get to that place where we're comfortable in our identity and we know exactly who we are, that we're not distracted by the things that will come our way in the form of people saying things about us or spreading rumors or things like that, to distract us from where we're heading. And so we all have that power to say, okay, I'm choosing not to respond. I'm choosing not to, quote unquote, defend myself. I'm choosing to just focus on my end goal. So remembering that he hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. Having a sound mind just really means that you are focused, like you're sharp. You're not looking to the left. You're not looking to the right. It doesn't matter what's filtering in, what's coming at you, because you already know who you are in Christ. So I just really thought that was interesting. Again, these were scriptures that I already was familiar with, but reading, just going back to them from watching that movie today, just really made me see and look at them from a different point, or just really reflect more deeply on that. Ephesians 6:10 says, finally, my brothers, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. There's so much that we can accomplish. There's so much that we can do. If we do not rely on our own strength, if we hold on to God, and just rely on his strength and his strength alone. Because we can accomplish anything, everything in Christ. So remembering that we need to be strong in him. If you rely on yourself, if you rely on your abilities, you rely on your intellectual abilities, in your physical strength, and just whatever you think you hold, whatever you think your support is, whatever your base is, whatever that cushion you have, if you rely on that, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you will be disappointed. You're not going to succeed. But if you rely on the Lord, if you hold on to God, if you let the Lord be your strength, then you definitely come out on top. So that's the reminder today. Philippians 1:28 says, "And in nothing be terrified by your adversaries, which is to them an evident token of perdition, but to you of salvation and that of God." 1 Corinthians 16:13 says, "Watch you, stand fast in the faith, you like men, be strong." Joshua 1:6 reminds us, "Be strong and of good courage, for to this people shall you divide for an inheritance the land which I swore to their fathers to give them." We're reminded, the Bible talks about courage and being strong. That should tell us what it means. That should be like an encouragement for us, or a reminder for us on just how important it is for us to stand firm, to be strong and be courageous. Especially in our world today, we need courageous Christians. We need individuals who will be able to stand up for truth, to stand up for what is right, to be able to say, okay, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what people are saying, or where the world is going, I'm standing for justice. I'm standing for truth. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. And of course, that's Proverbs 3:5-6. So where are you at in your faith? Are you that Christian? Are you that person who is courageous? Are you that person who is not afraid of what is happening around them? Are you that person who's able to stand against those things that are trying to hinder you or trying to stop you from achieving or getting where you need to be? Where are you? Where do you stand? Are you courageous? Are you brave? Are you strong? So again, this movie, like again, the name of the movie again is Cabrini. It was just a story of strong will and dedication. The strong will and dedication of one woman who was able to create a lasting impact in the society. And I was so struck by a few things, and it's based on a true story. You know, there's some things that she said in there that just really struck me. And we're created in this world, we're here in this world to not just carry on. We're not just here to, we're just, oh yeah, no, but to live. And how do we live? We live by loving one another, by being our brother's keeper, by seeing the humanity in the other person. It takes a lot of courage to become who we are meant to be. It's not an easy feat. Are you courageous enough to be who God has called you to be? Are you courageous enough to be what He has called, to do what He has called you to? Do you have that courage to stand up today and say, I'm standing up and walking in my identity, and I'm being who I've been created to be? What does courage look like to you? Something that she said that struck me in there was, we do not get to choose how we come into this world, but we get to choose how we live in it. And I really thought that was really powerful. We do not get to choose how we come into this world, but we get to choose how we live in it. What choice are you making today? What choice are you making today? How do you choose to live in this world? How do you choose to live out your calling? Wherever you're at, I mean, you can apply this in your spiritual walk, just in your life in general. If you're in ministry, you apply that there too. You know, how do you choose to carry out your ministerial duties? Are we so fearful? Are we too fearful to do what we've been called to do? Are we courageous enough to stand up tall in the face of danger, in the face of opposition, in the face of every kind of threat? I mean, she was threatened to be deported. They actually sent her back to Rome. They burnt down the place that she had the place that she had purchased. She had bought to build a hospital. And these are things that were helpful to people. It was something that was going to benefit the society. But because she was a woman, and because she was ruffling feathers, you know, she was standing up against political leaders. Like, oh, who is she? Who do you think you are? But yet, she stood up for what? She stood up for her calling. She said, was another thing which struck me, was because many times when she went to the Pope, she went to different heads in government, and every time she presented a proposal for getting a building for an orphanage, or doing something, or starting a mission. She actually wanted to start her mission in China, but she was directed to come to America, because I'm sure they knew that there was just so much going on. The plight of the people, the immigrants, the Italian immigrants in America was horrendous at that time. And so when she came, she was trying to find a way of getting them out of it. And they laughed in her face. They said, oh, who do you think you are? You're not going to be able to do this. And they asked her, how do you think you're going to fund this? Nobody's going to give you the money. And she said, begin the mission and the means will come. Begin the mission and the means will come. And when I heard that, again, there's a lot of times, and I say this all the time, it's like everything that happens to me or things that I encounter or see, I always apply in my life, and just try to see how I can relate that to just simple situations or daily life in my case. So begin the mission and the means will come. Again, going back to what I always say, you're sometimes are fearful of starting things because of what if I apply for that loan and I don't get it? What if I get rejected? What if I don't pass the exam? What if I do get accepted and I get accepted into that program and I can't afford it? What if? But my answer to you tonight, if you're that person who's in that place of what if, I don't have the funds to do it, I don't have the education to do it, I don't think I'm qualified, I'm not there, the answer to your doubts this evening is begin the mission and the means will come. Begin the mission and the means will come. We can't just sit down and say, okay, we're waiting for everything to fall in place. We're waiting for that perfect moment for everything to align before we go forth and do what we've been called to. It can never happen. There's never that perfect moment. The time is now. Just do it. Begin the mission and the means will come. And of course, she started. They tried to frustrate her in every way possible, but she was defiant. I remember at one point she started to feel defeated, and she was feeling down. She was in the chapel and she sat there, and the young lady that she had helped off the street came and sat there with her. And she said to her, she's like, now the Cabrini, the first time I saw you, you were dressed in this long veil and this long cloak. And you were marching down the street, fearless. When I saw you dressed in your habit, in your garments, you were like a woman who had her whole armor on. That was your armor. You were marching with a purpose. You were walking with a purpose. And then she said to her, in that moment that she felt down and felt like she couldn't go on, that felt the weight of everything on her at that moment, this young lady said to her, "Mother, I need you. Mother, you must put on your armor right now." And what did she do? She straightened up, and the very next morning, she went swinging. She stormed into the Italian Senate, where of course there were just men. There were only men in there, and she stormed in, and she had her way. And so it's a reminder for us of how courageous we need to be in living out our faith. You must put on your armor. Put on your armor today. Begin the mission and the means will come. Begin the mission and the means will come. God will always provide. We're not called to have all the answers right away. We're not called to have all the answers, to have all our ducks in a row. But if you take that first step, that initial step, then it'll all fall in line. Something really, I found it a little funny, but it was just really interesting too. That she said, one of the things she said was, let's work now. Work as hard as you can. We'll have plenty of time to rest in heaven. So if you're out there, that spoke to me as well, because a lot of times you feel like, okay, we're ministry, we're doing so much, we can't take on more, we have to focus on ourselves, we need to rest. Rest is good. But also remember not to get carried away with, oh, I need to rest, I need to do, and then forget the mission. This place is temporary. Work hard now. Work as hard as you can right now. Because we have plenty of time to rest in heaven. Another thing she said was we're bold or we die. And that's so true of us as Christians today. Are you a bold Christian? Are you a courageous Christian? Because if you're not, we die. If you're able to stand up and say, if something is wrong, to stand up and say it's wrong. If something's not biblical, if something just goes contrary to what God says. In our world today, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are going on, a lot of things that are happening, but I think we've become Christians that are massaging others' egos, like we're pampering people, like we're just, because everybody's so sensitive now, we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, or we don't want to ruffle any feathers, we're permitting or allowing or tolerating or encouraging things that are contrary to the gospel, behaviors that are contrary to the gospel. Are you just following along because everybody's doing it, everybody's encouraging stuff, everybody is allowing it, everybody is moving along with the crowd, and you're just going along with it? Can you be that person who's bold enough to say, okay, you keep going, I'm not part of that? Can you be that person? What kind of a Christian are you? So be encouraged today. Reflect today. If you're that Christian who's been on the fence, if you're that Christian who is just, I'm just going along with the crowd, I'm just, trying to be a people pleaser, or I don't want to hurt anybody, so because of that, I'm not going to, if they're going the wrong way, or if they're doing something wrong, then I'm just going to be quiet. I don't want to, be thrown out of the group. I want to belong. If you're that person who's doing that right now, you really need to just have a deep conversation with yourself. You need to really reflect on where you're at spiritually and who you really are. Because I think now more than ever, we need to be courageous. Now more than ever, we need to be bold. Now more than ever, we need to stand up for the truth, stand up for what we believe in. And so be encouraged today. Again, if you're able to watch the movie, it's in theaters. It's a really great movie. It's called Cabrini. Amazing movie. I encourage all the sisters out there, if you're able to watch it, watch it. And of course, our brothers as well. It's just a general, it's a movie of, just inspiration, especially if you're in ministry, especially if if you're living in the world today, you need to watch that, to be able to strengthen yourself in your faith walk, to know that you're not alone, to know that others who fought and paved the way. Because if she wasn't courageous and others like her weren't courageous, we probably would not be enjoying some of the things that we're enjoying today. And another line that struck me really, I also found a little amusing, was the mayor who had actually, he was mean. He was nasty. I'm just going to play it out there. He was really mean. He's the one that sent people to, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's wanting to go watch it, but he was just not a nice person. So he says to her, and this is at the end of the movie, he said, because when he realized that she came up on top, he said, "It's a shame you're a woman." you would have made an excellent man. And she responded, oh no, Mr. Mayor. Men could never do what we do. It's a shame you're a woman. You would have made an excellent man. And she responded, oh no, Mr. Mayor. Men could never do what we do. And so tonight, I just want to leave us with that. Something to think about. Begin the mission and the means will come. Are you able to build an empire of hope? What kind of world do we want to live in? Be encouraged today to stand up tall and be bold in living out your faith, in living out your mission in whatever ministry you're in, whatever God has called you to. Be bold. Be bold. So on that note, I just want to thank you again for joining tonight. Hopefully you're able to get something out of it. You're able to be encouraged. You're able to share with somebody. It's something, it's you might get pointers to start, a conversation with a group of friends, or just start a conversation. Where are you at? How courageous are you? Are you bold enough to live in this world today and declare who you are? Can you not let fear win? Are you able to fight that fear today? Standing on the principles of Christ, standing on what the Word tells you, the Word of God, that is, and living out your faith, proud and unashamed. So be encouraged today. Join us again, or join me again next Monday, God's willing. At the same time, I'll be here with just more inspirational thoughts and reflections on just how God is carrying on and working in me and doing all of that, all this good stuff in my life, and how I'm applying those in my daily life, being Christ's hands and feet, shining his light brightly for others to see. So that's what we're all called to do. So I pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. Don't forget to join us in the morning for our morning devotion. We're going to be in his presence from 6:30 to 7:30 tomorrow morning. Take the time to just remember to help us out. We are a listener supported station. There's different ways to do so. You can do so through Cash App. For Cash App is the $New Season WC. That's the $New Season WC. You can do so through Zelle. For Zelle, it's 954-536-1821. You can go straight to our website, newseasonfm.com, and click on the give/donate button. It'll take you right to the page where you're able to give. So again, thank you all so much for coming on. Rev, thank you. Yeye, thank you. Blessed, thank you for coming on. Percival, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you for joining. Mommy Jasmine, thank you. Akil, thank you for coming on. I know those who are on, or I can't really tell it on. Thank you all so much for coming on. I pray that you all have a wonderful rest of the week. Have a good night, and I will see you again, God's willing, next Monday, taking us out, of course, reminding us that we should be bold and courageous in all that we do. We're lions for Christ.
Today we live, today we breathe, today we know that we are strong when we are weak. Today we trust, we overcome. Take every chain that kept us slaves and throw them off. We're not waiting for permission, we defy our inhibition. Like our middle name is fearless, unafraid. always been. Before we face the fight, we know who's gonna win. We live by faith and not by sight. We don't want safe